Hey guys, Palko here. Today I wanted to do a video about my experience working in the substance abuse community and working with individuals who have addiction issues, and just some advice and some suggestions and things that I've learned that I can provide to you if you've ever encountered anybody who is struggling with something like this. And these are also things that you can apply to just life in general, okay? So the first thing is to be empathetic towards people. So everybody is on a different path in their life. They're all at different stages of their journey, and oftentimes we think that everybody is always on the same level or on the same page as ourselves, and that's not usually the case. So what I've noticed working with people who have addiction issues is that not everybody is ready to create change in their lives right away. You see a lot of, especially younger population, maybe kids who are like only 18 or 20, and they either may not have experienced as much as somebody who might be almost 40 per se, or maybe they have experienced a lot, but they're just not ready to change. They're just not ready to change yet. So always be empathetic, be understanding towards where people are in their lives, and never try to push them or try to force them to change, because what happens, somebody can go through the motions, but if they don't truly want to change internally, then they're just going to revert back to where they were before. So always try to be understanding of where people are at, and never try to force things upon people. Never try to force feed your opinion on somebody, because somebody might not be ready to hear that, and what that does, it creates a lot of resistance. So look at smoking, for example, like smoking ads that try to get people to stop smoking. There's a lot of posters or things on TV or whatnot, and they're using fear tactics to try to get people to quit. And all it does really is it just makes people feel kind of disgusted, but it doesn't actually, for the smokers a lot of times, it makes them actually crave a cigarette more, because it's like, hey, thanks for the reminder. Okay, I'm going to go have a cigarette now. You know, thanks for the reminder. People who smoke know that smoking is bad for them, okay? They know it, but they choose to smoke anyway. So if somebody's not ready to make that change, if their life, you know, sometimes it comes down to somebody getting very sick before they make that choice that they decide to change. But until they make a choice, then, you know, all those fear tactics and things like that, okay, you know, it's going to disgust somebody for 1 second, but then they're going to go outside and have a cigarette, you know. So fear tactics, they're used a lot today, even like the fitness industry, you see it a lot, weight loss, and sometimes they work, but oftentimes they don't work. So that's what I've learned, you know, working with the addiction field. You can't, I mean, I see kids going through just the detox process, and they're going through the motions of just going through, but until you really get a handle on changing your not just your behavior or the physical, the superficial stuff, getting it out of your system. If you don't change up here, you don't change the psychology behind it, then that's not gonna last. That's not gonna be lasting change for your recovery. So that's where they need to take the next step, the next level, you know, and whether that's outpatient or another inpatient rehab for 60 days or 90 days for a lot of people. You know, you can't fix a problem in 5 to 7 days. You really can't. You know, you can go through the motions, but you're going to revert back if you don't change that subconscious programming in your head. So always be, I went off a little tangent there, but always be understanding of where people are in their journey, okay? Because not everybody is ready for change. The next thing is that, you know, we often put labels on people. We label people as addicts. We label people as overweight, underweight, black, white, skinny, whatever. You know, we put labels on everybody who we see, whether we like it or not. We do, whether we project it outwardly, verbally. A lot of times we think it in our heads, because that's just what we've grown up with. That's what ingrained in us. And it's just our programming in our brains. You know, we're programmed to think a certain way about certain people. And it's also societal. Society puts labels on these different groupings of people. And, you know, they'll label, for example, addicts as bad, or you know, overweight people as bad, skinny people as good, you know, but that's not necessarily true also. You know, you have people who are very malnourished and may have an eating disorder, and you're going to label them as good, you know, but really there is no bad or good, you know. So we have these labels that we put on everything, and that creates, again, in our brains, in our programming, we go through our lives thinking bad, good, but there really is no bad or good. It's the individual. And what I've learned, you know, working with addicts, is that addicts are not bad, all right? They're people, they're human. I've met some of the greatest people, or people who are truly, they're struggling, they need help, they need assistance. So realize that we're all struggling with something. You know, I struggled with disordered eating and binge eating patterns when I was younger for like a number of years, for a long time. And I feel like, in a sense, even though I've never been addicted to drugs or alcohol, I feel like I can really relate with some of these clients, some of these patients, because of what I've been through and what I've experienced in my own life. Because it really boils down to the same emotions that we have, right? Whether it's stress or anxiety or feeling not worthy, not good enough, and you're filling a void with whether it's food or whether it is drugs, whether it's heroin, whether it's alcohol, whether it's gambling, whether it's sex. I mean, we are always trying to fill a void to make ourselves happy. You know, that's the addict's mind. So you don't necessarily have to be an addict by society's norms to get it, to understand it. So that goes back to being empathetic, you know, realizing that we're all human and everybody's going through something. And the moment you stop putting labels on everybody and everything based on what society thinks of somebody, or what you read in the newspaper or magazine or on television, you know, it's where we're going to get to a place where we can be more accepting, more loving of other people. And it's really going to improve how we live our lives, you know, instead of feeling all this resistance towards other groups. And you know, we learn to accept more. We learn to let go of these labels that we've put on everything, and learn to really let it go and understand people, and understand more. The more we can understand people, the better our lives will be, because we won't be fighting and resisting and always either defending ourselves or trying to prove a point. Okay, so the last tip I wanted to mention, and something that I've learned, is, and I'll mention the ego a lot, thinking that we're better than somebody else. And this kind of ties into the label thing too. You know, I see, you know, in the addiction field and stuff like that, but people think they're better than addicts, or they think they're better than these groups of, you know, people who are seemingly less than. So it's like, get out of your head, get out of your ego, get out of your little world where you feel like you are up here on a pedestal and that person over there is you know, over there somewhere far away. You know, we're all here. We're all on the same level. Okay. So the third thing is to drop importance. Dropping importance is huge, not only for yourself, but just how you go about your daily life. So, you know, we go through our lives placing things up here on a pedestal, right? Either we put ourselves up there, or we put somebody else up there. Either we idolize, you know, a person or a situation or a celebrity, for example, or we idolize, or we put up here a pedestal something we want. It could be a job, a relationship, it could be anything. And what that does, it throws off the equilibrium, it throws off the balance of life, you know? I mean, life wants to be in balance, it wants to be whole. And you'll notice that when you start putting stuff on a pedestal, For example, say you want a job so bad, or you want a relationship so bad. Oftentimes we don't get the job or the relationship because we put all of our focus on this one thing and we put it up here rather than putting it down here where we are, saying that we already have it, that we're already there in that position, or we already have that relationship, we're already worthy of it, right? Instead, we put it up here, which means we're here, which means we're lacking. We're lacking that thing or that person, or, we feel like, oh my God, this celebrity is up here. I could never be that person. I could never be a millionaire, I could never be a Steve Jobs or an Oprah Winfrey or whoever it is, and that's the difference between somebody who is Steve Jobs or Oprah. They dropped importance. They took inspired action to get to where they wanted to be in their lives, but they didn't see themselves as not good enough or not worthy enough, or just in this place where they're always lacking. No. They visualized. They put themselves in that place before they were in that place. They were living it. They were being it. They were breathing it. They were experiencing it. Not only with their senses, with the experience with, sight, sound, touch, they were living it in their brain. In their brain, they were living it. They were visualizing. But through visualizing, it wasn't through a feeling of lacking it. It was through visualizing, through that actually getting in that moment, getting in that experience. Almost like a movie slide. You constantly have like a movie projector in the back of your brain, and oftentimes we don't notice, or we're not conscious of what we're thinking about, but we're constantly projecting, in the back of our brains. So if we can change that and we can start projecting our ideal reality, us actually being in that spot, in that, living that life that we want to live, instead of saying it's all far over there, maybe I'll do it in a year or 2 years or 10 years, maybe I'll get there, and I got to work my way up and stuff like that. No, be it. You got to be it. You got to live it. You got to experience it. You got to either hang around people who are doing it and learn from them and get in the vibration of it, or you're just going to be reading about it all the time, and you're just going to be wishing, hoping, needing, praying, oh God, please let this happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen unless you experience it and you live it in your brain, in your visualizations, which I can't say, through your meditations. Take the time out of your day for yourself to either talk to people who are doing what you want to do, where you want to be, to read books, not how to get rich, but read books written by somebody who is rich. You got to get in that mindset. You got to get in that mindset and get out of that lack mindset. Get out of the lack. Get out of the neediness. Get out of the victim mode. Get out of the wanting, wishing, hoping. Because that is over there. It's in the future. It's not here. You need to be here right now. You need to be present. You need to be present. You need to experience things. And you need to just make a decision to be, to live, to experience, to live as that ideal version of yourself. Version yourself up. Why not? Why not? Why can't you wake up and say, for a lot of people, it's like, okay, I can't label myself as this until I do this, based on society and how I know I have to get there. No, just wake up and identify yourself as that person. You identify yourself as that person. You can be whoever the hell you want to be. If you want to be a millionaire, wake up and live your life as if you were a millionaire. Okay, it may not show in your bank account, whatever, But what are things that a millionaire would do? Go to stores and look at, expensive jewelry, or, go on the internet and search for places you want to travel to. You need to get in the vibration of already being there in order to be that person, in order to get there quicker, in order for it to manifest into your life. And I'm not a huge fan of the word manifest, because everything already exists. It already exists in this so-called space of variations, almost like a matrix. It's just we have to tune to that channel. Tune to the channel of what we want. So you have every possible thing in existence that can ever happen in your life. Everything you've ever dreamed of. It already exists. We're just on a different TV channel. We're on a different radio station. So we have to get ourselves in alignment with that thing, place, person. Okay? Because it's already there. We don't have to create anything. Everything's already created. Our brains have such a hard time comprehending this because we think in this linear fashion, right? We think in this past, present, future. But really, we have the present. We have the now. And everything's already in existence. It's just we need to get in vibration with what we want, with what that version of ourselves that's already doing, or already a millionaire, that's already, has that great relationship and everything. We just have to get in tune with it. So I totally went off on a tangent, but those are things I've learned. So be empathetic. Realize everybody is on a different path. Not everybody's ready to change right away. We can't force change on somebody. We need to understand that. I mean, in your lives, you're not ready to change or do certain things, and yeah, drop the importance. We got to drop the importance. Live as if you are already living that, as that person, as that version of yourself. Stay neutral, stay balanced. Don't put things up here outside of you. Everything's already inside of you. Everything's already inside of you. You just have to let it out. You just have to let it out. And a lot of times we suppress everything. We suppress our emotions. We suppress just our creativity, our inspiration, our motivation. Like we have so much potential to be so great, yet we suppress things based on past experience, or what this person said to us in second grade, or what, what I mean? Like we have so much greatness in us. We have so much more than we give ourselves credit for. And I think that's something we need to tap into more, because that's going to just change our life. It's going to shift our reality. It's going to just make the way we live our lives better, and how we interact with other people better, and make us happier. At the end of the day, we want to be happy. We want to be happy. So that's it for today, guys. And we'll see you on the next video. All right, take care.